When the IRS brings in their closer, you don't bunt. You bring in a power hitter.
That ball is out of here.
At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we go to bat against the IRS. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Don't let the IRS steal your paycheck, and don't let them tag your bank account out at home plate. This isn't Little League. This is your financial future. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, and a full count. Are you swinging alone, or are you going to call in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now at 630-415-5296. Once again, 630-415-5296, or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
His grave better have a urinal cake. Validation and vindication again. We all knew it because we have an IQ over 60, but the Democrats' greatest excuse is I'm a Democrat, I'm stupid. When the reality is you're traitors. Both Biden and Fauci will be remembered as traitors. Classes will be taught about the Fauci fraud and scheme. And Joe Biden, he will be referred to as the dimwit in diapers for eternity. We'll discuss that and more after Mike Scott in the news.
Good afternoon in our QC Kinetics newsroom. I'm Mike Scott. Could be a thunderstorm with a high of 86. An earthquake with a magnitude of 6.8 has shaken a Japanese island. Authorities are assessing damage. Members of Congress honoring the late South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham at a memorial ceremony at the Capitol. At the event, Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
I traveled with Lindsey all over the world as part of congressional delegations, and I saw firsthand just how much he was respected by our allies.
Here in the Chicago area, cleanup is underway after severe weather. ComEd reports about 180,000 customers without power. Just to our north in Wisconsin, it likely was a tornado that tore through Winnebago County.
I had no idea it was this bad. We were in the house and the wind came up and we had absolutely no idea that these trees went down and there was this kind of damage.
In the aftermath of yesterday's powerful storms, the search for a missing contractor swept away by fast rising water while working in storm sewers in Downers Grove turned into a recovery effort today. Bears veterans reporting for training camp today. The news a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing mixed as investors digest mostly upbeat earnings reports. The Dow rose sharply as healthcare and consumer staple stocks lifted the index. However, the tech-heavy Nasdaq fell for a fourth straight session as chip stocks continue to falter. Oil prices fell with West Texas Intermediate crude at around $79 a barrel. The Magnificent Seven big-cap tech stocks were mostly higher as investors get in gear for earnings reports from Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple. Apple stock rose nearly 1%, with the tech giant briefly becoming the second publicly traded company in history to hit a market capitalization of $5 trillion. The Dow winners, Sherwin-Williams, IBM, and Coca-Cola. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Goldman Sachs, and Chevron. The Dow up 537 points, the Nasdaq lower by 55, S&P 500 up 16. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hugh Hewitt sees the president staying tough.
They're running out of everything, and of course, when the power plants start to go down, the ability to even communicate with each other will be gone. So I know the president wanted to spare the population of Iran as much suffering as possible, but the IRGC, 250,000 people, holding 92 million people hostage, they've got to get them pulled out by the roots.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here he comes.
Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, An ice cream truck stole your parking spot. Looks like you're in a turf war.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Good afternoon. Here's another look at the roads. An accident inbound Kennedy at Central in the center lane. It is an hour going in. The outbound Kennedy, 50 minutes back out to O'Hare. On the Edens, no troubles outbound side. Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post Office 2390 with an accident at Austin. Another at Beesterfield off to the side. Northbound I-55 near Veterans Parkway. Crash in the center lane. Stevenson, 50 minutes out to 355 from downtown. Dan Ryan out 25. Outbound 4 to crash at 130th. 2 right lanes are blocked. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State. Westbound Jane Addams is stalled right center lane at Route 53. Also snuck southbound 355. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create a hazy sky. The high will reach 83 degrees. Tomorrow night, the sky will be clear again with a low of 66. Thursday will bring partly sunny conditions with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. And when the band plays, hey,
I knew the minute I heard that fracking fairy tale. First of all, he had the job since 1968. Are you out of your fracking mind? The name Fauci will go down as the greatest, and it's a shame because it should have the greatest mass murderer in world history. Mass murderer in world history. But what he really is a fraud, a quack, an imbecile who was never right about anything.
It likely jumped species from an animal reservoir into humans and now is spreading among humans. The mutation.
The best part about it all, the entire time he knew he had a problem because he had financed this bioweapon, the great smokescreen, knowing full well what it was supposed to do.
That it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human.
Are you cold? They'll give these degrees to any moron. And I mean any moron. You want to be a doctor? Go work in the government. This pickle-faced fraud wouldn't let him near my dog's ass. You want to be a lawyer? Be a Democrat. Here's Ben Crump that you probably didn't hear. You know Ben Crump, Squirrel. He's the guy with the pinstripe suit. Every race riot. Here's the lawyer trying to read.
It goes, the gunshot wound of the head. A, the injury, proliferation of the left internal subra. Now I'm looking at this word.
Say medulla oblongata. Say medulla oblongata.
I know it's not subdural artery, but it's
the party of morons, doctors and lawyers, whatever you are. If you're a Democrat, and I mean whatever you are, if you're a Democrat, you're a moron.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well,
finance.
Want to
do that? We'll do that too. You morons.
Again, some of this stuff gets. Some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
Highest economic advisor to the president that the future will describe as American Dark Ages, that stole the 2020 election. Aside from that, he couldn't talk in sentences any more than Ben Crump can read them.
This was a big meeting, the CIA and everyone on, it was,
Was that a July meeting?
I don't know, it looks like it is. It says, I changed pens.
By the way, this is 2017. After he's the vice president, after he's a senator, since when Fauci got the job. Confessing. There is no reason for a senator or a vice president to have top secret documents in his house.
So it's got to be after the 17th of June. And then it's a long meeting.
I was tired.
Where,
I wet myself. 2 pairs of pants.
DOD brief.
3 socks.
At DOD POTUS. Air Force 2, 2:30 p.m. There was a big meeting down in the Situation Room.
I was really tired. Slept on the table.
Some of this may be classified, so be careful with it. I'm not sure.
Traitors! They're not just stupid. All Democrats are stupid. You don't think that socialism works, do you? I mean, you don't think you could sell groceries at 30% under cost? Or that illegal aliens are entitled to welfare? Now, could you argue that they were always stupid? Maybe not. But boy, they are now.
One of the central components of immigration reform is enforcement. And this bill contains a number of important provisions to beef up border security. But that's not enough. Real enforcement also means drying up the pool of jobs that encourages.
That's when he was running. He would say anything, including that he was a citizen, which he wasn't. And the future will diagnose exactly what we live through the way it should be. Because they have information to all. They'll have access to all of the evidence of treason. All of the evidence of the greatest planning of a bioweapon released in order to steal an election. And the trillions that were set on pace from the non-citizen who won in 2008 named Barry Soetoro.
To cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. An epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. There is no...
See, now here's the thing, Swirl. Pay attention. That's Bill Creepy Gates. Bill Creepy Gates. And during the Obama years, tremendous amount of contracts, but not nearly as much money during the after the bioweapon had been released on the world. These are mass murderers. Pay attention. It's not just Mao Zedong or Stalin with his little left arm, little winky left arm. This is what it looks like when Americans release a bioweapon on the world.
To cause, say, 10 million excess deaths. An epidemic, either naturally caused or intentionally caused, is the most likely thing to cause, say, 10 million excess deaths.
There is no question that there will be a challenge to the coming administration in the arena of infectious diseases, but also there will be a surprise outbreak. There will be a surprise.
It's not really a surprise when you finance it, work on it, and then you promote that fraud excuse of a bat kissing a dolphin's ass, making out with a Democrat in San Francisco and spreading it throughout the world.
Going for the closure of the wet markets, I think they should shut down those things right away. I mean, it boggles my mind because what we're going through right now is a direct result of that.
And you have
and the unindicted co-conspirator is every registered Democrat. Every one of you. You're unindicted co-conspirators, but who bears the real bulk of it? All the ones who pretend to be reporters. Listen to CNN as they shut down any talk of the fact these are just excerpts from this pickle-face fraud's diary. Do you know the balls, the arrogance, the ignorance, the schizophrenia, the sociopathic demagogue wannabe wrote it down in a diary?
I think we need to have transparency around what's going on. I think one situation that, frankly, where we saw the government was certainly obfuscating, didn't have any transparency, was Anthony Fauci, who we're getting his diaries today, where he was...
And all of the co-conspirators known as Democrats running cover for the most obvious conspiracy to not just get that fraud elected, Joe Biden, but to release this bioweapon to steal the trillions and trillions of dollars that have gone missing in everything from PPP to bailing out these Democrat dungholes. That's what it's about. Trillions of dollars funneled to the most corrupt areas in our society that stole the money. They're called Democrat ones.
Research. He lied about that to Congress. He knew about Ralph Baer. He knew about Peter Daszak. He knew about the labs in China. So he was fully aware of this. I think all of his lies were basically a massive cover-up of his involvement in the creation of the coronavirus to create a pandemic. Then, once that pandemic began, he focused everything on a vaccine. Not a vaccine, it's really an experimental gene therapy. Okay? Sabotaged early treatment, whether it's hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, these cheap generic drugs. Instead, push remdesivir, which, by the way, nurses call it run, death is near. It knocks out your kidney. So just about everything he did leading up to the creation of the coronavirus, his funding of the research that I think resulted in it, the devastating impact in the shutdowns, masking. Have you ever seen a little child wear a mask and yet they had to wear those masks?
If these rats had any dignity, they would carve a hole in their stomach the way the Japanese used to when they had dignity and they let down their fellow Japanese, their nation. These are traitors, and they knew the whole time. He knew exactly what he was doing.
You were going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit. And they...
You know what else it's proven? When they destroy your economy, you're forced to become a slave to government, like the ones who are still voting Democrat. The ones who still tolerate the traitors as they reorganize to run again, when in fact each and every Democrat in the upper echelon of the Obama administration and the Biden administration, each one in the what's called media, but promoted not lipstick on a pig, but propaganda that they knew was a lie, as Fauci knew it was a lie as he said it. Each one of them should be arrested, labeled traitors, and imprisoned.
look, nothing happening in winning a primary, taking a blue district to cobalt blue, flips a red to blue. When we
stay away from the decent when you're a Democrat. Live in the areas you've already destroyed. They're easy to find. They have no businesses.
Samantha Breslow specializes in Chicago's tax structure for corporations.
I represent companies that say to me, why would I be in the city of Chicago any longer?
Only if you're corrupt. And the corrupt ones, they stay because they never would have existed without that corruption. And everyone understands it now.
From coast to coast, Democrat leaders are pushing aggressive tax policies for the wealthy. I mean, critics argue those policies are what's driving businesses and what's driving residents out of their states. It's doing the opposite.
Those taxes are for nothing other than to bring you to heel. Those taxes are to keep you busy. Well, the cover-up exists and always did.
But they're really criticizing science because I represent science.
You represent government corruption and incompetence. You represent treason. And that's how you will be remembered in the future. Your name will be called a scheme. It will be the Fauci scheme of every election stolen, every business collapsed, every act of fascism that this country sees in the future will be called Fauci. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
Step right up and see the magnificent Beck sofa at Penny Mustard.
What's with the circus getup?
Ever seen a clown car?
With clowns that keep climbing out one after another?
Exactly. The Beck sofa is Penny Mustard's clown car.
How so?
The Beck's appears to be a petite, apartment-sized sofa.
Yeah.
But it can hold contortionists, lion tamers, and the ringmaster too.
Step right up and see the Beck sofa, starting at $19.77 at Penny Mustard.
7 Chicagoland showrooms.
PennyMustard.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
AM 560. The Answer.
32 biolabs in Ukraine. Remember Tulsi Gabbard? I do. They worked on this bioweapon for years.
if you're vaccinated, you really don't need to worry about getting it in a way that's serious or transmitting it.
That is true. That is correct, Chris. It'll either protect you completely against infection, and the chances are very likely that you'll not be able to transmit it to other people.
Wrong. No. Your knee-jerk reaction is every Democrat is a quack. If a doctor, if a lawyer, if an Indian chief, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker. In the best-case scenario, they're morons.
It goes the gunshot wound of the head. A, the injury, proliferation of the left internal subra. I'm looking at this word because I know.
That's two Democrat lawyers. Richard M. Daley. That's how you keep them square. The father was J. Squirrel. And the son is Richard M., and the M stands for moron. That's two Democrat lawyers that can't read. Ben Crump and Richard Moron Daley. Ken, Austin, Texas.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Shaun. Hey, when Fauci, that mad scientist Fauci, when he unleashed that virus, I had just started a business in February.
Oh,
and that,
boy.
And I got to tell you, Shaun, the amount of money that I lost, I had to close my doors because of a lung condition that I had. I had to remain indoors for 2 years. Thank God my wife was able to have a job, work from home, and supported us. But the amount of debt that I accumulated in that time was insurmountable. I'm finally out from underneath it. But I'm telling you, when somebody gets it, they get it right in the backside.
Well, here's the thing.
And these people get away with it scot-free.
You were the target. You were the target. You were the target. You're an American entrepreneur, a success story. You're who the Marxist, the communist, the American Democrat scoundrel hates. You're privileged. So they concocted this, and they took away all of our businesses. Every American entrepreneur, this bioweapon was concocted to bring us to heel, to let us know. We just think it's our business. They let us manage it. Look at all of these areas. Look at what they do in these Democrat dungholes. They tell you what to pay your guy. They tell you what kind of insurance you have. They think they own it, and we just get to manage it. This was to get us in line, Ken. The good news is it backfired. And we're always going to work out of it the way you did. You know why? We're better than them at everything. We're Americans.
Right.
They're scum of the earth. And the only way they can get ahead,
proud.
The only way they can get ahead is like Fauci. 50 years of quackery. He would have been laughed at any practice, sued for malpractice. Where could he exist? In government, like the Soviets and the communists. Don't worry, Ken. They stole our time and they stole our money, but they didn't break us. We know what they are, and history will vindicate us. 100 years from now, every government scandal, every act of fascism will be called a Fauci. Mark my words, Ken. Every moron politician, every moron politician will be called what they are, Democrats. Thank you, brother, for the call. You stay strong. Georgie, Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, instead of Harry Carey, Fauci should do himself in with a poisoned cannoli.
Well, hopefully I'll get control of things and we'll do a Longshanks, because that's what he deserves. You know what Longshanks used to do to traitors? William Wallace does. Dan, Indiana.
Hey, Shaun, how are you? So my question is, do you think Americans are going to fall for this scam again? It was so obvious last time, even when it was happening. But do you think they're going to fall for it again? And if they do, what's the vehicle going to be? Because a pandemic might not work.
Dan, you are in Indiana. We just had Kenny call from Texas. I'm a meathead from Chicago. There are people listening all around the world. When you say fell for it, we didn't fall for it. None of us did. None of us did. None of us fell for it. Were people knuckled under? Did people have to capitulate with acts of fascism to keep their job? Yeah. But we didn't really fall for it. There are billions, not millions, billions of people that never fell for it. The difference is these corrupt gangsters took control of the most free country that represented a principle. And it lost that principle during the Biden years and the Obama years. and it loses it in all these Democrat areas. Ultimately, when the evidence reveals itself, it will be nothing more than a theft. $30 trillion has been added to our debt that you and I didn't sign on for. Hundreds of millions of people never signed on for it. And during this time period, when Fauci concocted the bioweapon and released it, in conjunction with all the people who profited from it, where did the money go, Dan? It didn't go to you in Indiana. It didn't go to Ken in Texas.
No, it went to Fauci.
It went to Democrat cities, states, and counties that were running a financial bankruptcy, and it bailed them out to trillions of dollars. Dan, it's only going to get better every day, as it's already gotten better. We're just over a year and a half in the Trump administration. It is beyond the shadow of a doubt that Fauci is a traitor, that he released and concocted and created, and we paid for a bioweapon, and he lied about it the whole time. Dan, these are good days, brother.
Yep.
These are good days. So fall for it? Nobody ever fell for it in the first place that wasn't already either a moron or corrupt, and that's what the Democrats have always been. Thank you very much, Dan. Nobody falls for their nonsense. Grocery stores your ass. They steal the money. SNAP benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Stolen. All the money. The money since Barack Obama was late on his car payment. Getting it from some half-ass gangster in the first ward so he could drive the ghetto Bentley. That $30 trillion has been stolen in this country and others. The question is, who's ever going to buy a Democrat saying anything again? That's either a thief or a moron. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600. Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
You know what was great about surviving the Dimwit and Diapers election theft, COVID, all these fracking lies? I never shut down. Never. My little cigar store in Elmhurst, we never shut the door. But the good news is, the day after, when they stole the election, I put a sign in the door that said, Biden voters keep out. I never let one in. It was our little sanctuary. We had a tremendous amount of good times, conversation, and fun. That's what Shaun Fest is. It's my little cigar store, only expanded for all of us. And even though it is taking place in the belly of the beast, is that Cook County, Itasca? I think it is. In Crooked County, led by Grady Preckwinkle with that ass face, with all the commissioner drunk driving, never get a ticket, all of the scum that represents that short-in-the-pants mafia. That little time period, on August 28th, right behind Weston and Itasca at Lakeside Pavilion, it's me and you. The show is there. We're going to have a band. It's going to be fantastic. The national anthem. All of the people I interview will be live, and I'm going to stay until I get to shake everybody's hand. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And you could count on your one hand how many times I say I'm looking back to going back to Shirakistan because I have to fly in through Michelle Obama's underwear drawer. $19 billion. All the half-ass gangsters been stealing out of that since the 60s. The good news is, once we get to the Lakeside Pavilion at the Westin in Itasca on August 28th, it's just me and you don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is register. Go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest, SHAUN. See you there on August 28th. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. Squirrel's going to be there. Honey Bunny's going to be there. Keep in mind, those are their names when you register at 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Sponsored in part by our great advertisers who will also be there. It's going to be Virago, leaving-i-l.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance, owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. They'll be there. Randy Donnelly will be there, and you'll be there. See you there on August 28th. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, I'm Mike Scott. Could be an isolated thunderstorm, hot and humid with a high of 86. And an earthquake of a magnitude 6.8 has shaken Japan's southern islands. Reporter Rafe Sanchez.
Bridges, roads buckling all across the area. Train services suspended, including some of those high-speed bullet trains that Japan is known for. And the walls of a 16th century castle, popular with tourists, crumbling amid the tremors.
Rescues are happening throughout the region near the coastal city of Uki. Members of Congress honoring late South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham at a memorial ceremony at the Capitol. Speaking, Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
I traveled with Lindsey all over the world as part of congressional delegations, and I saw just how well he was able to connect with foreign leaders around the globe.
Graham died unexpectedly of heart complications earlier this month. And the Illinois Federation of Teachers has filed suit against Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas, claiming her office has repeatedly failed to disperse hundreds of millions of dollars in property tax funds to the county's public school districts. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
Outbound Edens at Church, there is an accident. Stop and go from Toohey, 55 minutes going out. Kennedy inbound, an accident at Central. That is in the center lane. Hour and 10 in, and the outbound Kennedy 50 out to O'Hare. Outbound Eisenhower, hour and 5 to 390. 55 northbound crash in the center lane at Veterans Parkway. That one slowing down from 126. Stevenson 50 to Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. Outbound Ryan 25, tie-ups in those express. 47th to Marquette, and the outbound Ford at 130th. That accident still blocking two of the right lanes. Stop and go from the Stony Island feeder. On DuSable Lakeshore Drive, you'll see delays either way, but it is lighter than usual right now. Tri-State busy both directions. Westbound Jane Addams, there is a stall in the right center lane at 53 and a bit snug southbound 355. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 63. On Wednesday, it'll be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create hazy conditions. The high will reach 83. Wednesday night will bring another clear sky with a low of 66. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm on the line with my friend Randy from Donley Auctions. Now, I hear you guys are having an absolute monster of a historical event coming up this week.
Calling it a historical event is almost an understatement. We're honored to be hosting the lifetime collection of the late Alan Konigsberg. For anyone who doesn't know that name, Alan was the premier authority and historian on recorded sound. He literally wrote the reference books on Edison cylinders and early phonograph patents.
So this is so big that I heard you guys are going to split this into two different auctions. Is that correct?
First up, starting online only, is this Wednesday, July 29th. Thousands of rare cylinders like pink Lamberts, blue Amberols, and Columbia Grands.
Now, I heard the guys talking here, and I understand there's something about a specific cylinder.
It's a cylinder record. It's lot 1114, and it's the original H.H. Holmes wax cylinder record along with his printed confession. Now, H.H. Holmes is America's first notorious serial killer.
Now, what happens on the following Thursday?
Thursday, July 30th, is the main event. The Alan Konigsberg phonograph collection. We're showcasing the absolute birth of sound technology.
That is so fantastic. Just online at auctions, we go to the auction house on the day before. How's it work?
Well, you can go straight to DonnellyAuctions.com right now. You can view the full catalogs, both of them, online. You can register and place your bids if you want. But if you want to see these historic items in person, preview is Tuesday and Wednesday, July 28th and 29th from noon until 7. That's before the day is open on Thursday morning at 8 a.m.
That's Randy Donnelly from Donnelly Auctions. Another historic milestone for our friends at Donnelly Auctions. I can't thank you enough for coming on and telling the people about it.
Thanks, Shaun, so much. I hope to see everyone there.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonnellyAuctions.com. Sports memorabilia, movie posters, rock and roll. Get top dollar for your collection. DonnellyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Personally as a person, but I didn't agree with what he was saying or what he was doing. And when Biden came in, he inherited him, and he gave him a tremendously high position. And then he gave him a pardon.
He did indeed. And, I think we all thought there was a lot of science behind what he was saying, and maybe not so much. But, Mr. President, if you would have known then what you know now, would you have fired him?
Well, I would have fired him, but, again, I didn't listen to him. So when he was with Biden, he was like the God. When he was with me, he wasn't even close, and I wasn't very close to him. I dealt with him very little. I didn't agree with many of the things he said. No, he wanted to close up everything. Look at all the...
He dealt with that dingbat with the scarf, the neckerchief. Remember her, squirrel with the ascot? Another co-conspirator.
Has the White House been controlling when you can speak with the media?
I think you'd have to be honest to say yes. I certainly have not been allowed to go on many shows that have asked for me.
One of the most trusted voices in America, and yet you're not.
Trusted voices in America. The future will designate exactly what he is. His name will be synonymous with not just fraud, treason. He's a traitor, and the evidence proves it, along with all of his cohorts. And that includes Mike Pence, who he was very close with, Mike Pence. You fracking scumbag. Anybody know what Mike Pence thinks? Is a sentence no one will ever say again, ever. Give me Glenn in Orlando. Will you squirrel? My call screen's a little down. Glenn.
Hey, Shaun, hope you're doing well. That was Deborah Burke with the scarf.
Yeah.
I hated her. Deborah Burke.
Are we supposed to call her Doctor of Gatsangul? They all graduate from with a doctorate in Gatsangoulism. Go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, this was not a pandemic. This was a plandemic. They planned this to make our lives miserable and to steal money. This was
I think
all planned.
I called it that when I used to fill in, didn't I? Pretty sure I did. And
You
it
might
was
have. I don't remember.
obvious from the get-go. You had to bring us to heel. After all, we're Americans. You think we were going to take that election theft lightly? You had to make everybody nervous that they were going to be deplatformed. You remember that? And how about when the kids had to go to college? You shook down these little kids? You shook down these kids to put that poison in their arm. It's poison, and we all knew it. And the death and the mayhem and the suicides, they knew it. Go ahead.
They kept the strip clubs and the liquor store open. So
I'm surprised they kept the strip clubs because if you know many Democrats, very few of them are actually heterosexual. Kind of like Barack Obama and the hot tub futurists. All freakazoids. All side saddle queers. Thank you for the call, Glenn. Give me my man Corey, will you, squirrel? Corey, you handsome son of a gun. What are you doing?
Hey, thanks for taking the call, Shaun. The problem I had was the coordination. Most of these Democrats started coordinating
right out the gate. And the only one that shook it off first was your guy, DeSantis. He shook it off first. That's why I wanted him to run for president. He shook off that stupor first and started fighting. But they used that pandemic to steal an election. They used it to steal people's property. Everyone's saying, I'm going to go get a forbearance. That's the wrong thing to do. You'll come out of that forbearance because they will not pay the tax, and you will lose that house. I had several friends lose their homes through those forbearances. So city council walked in there and gave themselves a 40% raise, Shaun, and then they raised their allowances as well.
And who's I'll never forget this. Hochberg was way in front of that. You remember that? You remember Hochberg on the don't, watch the forbearance, warning people. And you know, it reminded me of the first collapse, right? The so-called collapse when Barack Obama first took advantage of the morons in America. Only 9% were even delinquent on their mortgage after they called it a collapse. And look at how they took advantage of that. That's when you have to start to understand. These are created emergencies meant to do exactly what you just articulated, to steal our property, steal our time, and bring us to heel. That's all this was. And, you know, the nice thing, Corey, is our great-grandkids that we'll never meet, they're going to diagnose this. All the evidence has been there. We've been using it. We've laid it out all the years. This is a shock to nobody who can think, nobody who understood what was happening. And in the meantime, what was the point? The point was to steal the emergency money, the trillions and trillions of dollars. Trillions, not billions, trillions. Joe Biden added $9 trillion to the debt in 4 years. It took us 236 years. It's an unbelievable amount. And where did it go? It didn't come to Florida. We didn't get that. Didn't go to Tennessee. It didn't go to any of the 11 states that are now booming. It went to all the ghetto states that are losing business and taking people's property. Corey, we were way ahead of the game as we always were. The only thing is you should have listened to me. 5 years ago, I said, sell, Mortimer, sell. And you come down here by me. The smile on a Florida license, baby. I haven't smiled that much since prom. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Corey. All right, Squirrel, who else we got on the line there, handsome? Rick Des Plaines.
Shaun, I'll see you at the fest, and I got one thing to say. It was never about the virus. It was always about control.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how anyone can come to another conclusion. And how about the people? Can you imagine, Rick? Now, I got to tell you, I was very, very close with my mother. Can you imagine a couple of doctors telling me I can't go sit with her as she dies in the hospital? Let me tell you something. You don't have enough coppers in Cook County. You don't have enough cops in Cook County. But go ahead.
All right, so here's the deal. Real short. I'll keep it as quick as I can. I work with a lady who lost her job. She worked at a hospital because she refused to get the vaccine. And I also worked with a gal. She's no longer there, but she bought a brand new Jeep on a fraudulent PPP. She didn't own a business. She was 22.
You got off light, kid. They just brought some pig, whore, half-ass step-and-fudge Democrat asset back from Jamaica and Florida. She stole $32 million. She can't spell it, and Ben Crump can't read it. This is the beauty. All the Democrats made a fracking fortune. All their suck-on foot soldiers. How about no one has addressed how many people in the Dirksen building or in the Cook County building? Remember, they all worked for the government. Weren't they sheriff's police or some shit? And they all stole the money. They all stole the money. Rats. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
It's summer. Time to get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather in a brand new scooter from Mars Medical in New Lenox. Come see and test drive their full collection of new and used power mobility devices for sale. Mars Medical carries full and travel size scooters from Pride Mobility and Golden Technologies. Inventory is moving out daily, so don't hesitate to pick out your new scooter today. And don't forget, Mars Medical also has lightweight and compact transport wheelchairs available for sale or rental use for those day trips to the zoo or to the park. Some units weigh as little as 19 pounds. Or improve your outdoor activities with a rollator walker. Mars Medical has over 7 models of rollator walkers on the floor for purchase. Make this summer one to remember with help from Mars Medical on the north side of Route 30 between Cedar and Vine Road in New Lenox. Or go to marsmedicalsupply.com. Mars Medical, customer care that is out of this world.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
AM 560, The Answer.
Give me our caller, Tim, please. It's Tim, right, Squirrel? I can't see his name. Tim, hey, Zion, how are you? I'm aggravated. I'm aggravated, Tim, but I also feel that we're vindicated, and I wanted to live to see it. And I'm glad that this pickle-faced bastard lived to see it, as he affected every American in one way or another.
Yeah, my wife, she passed away in 2023 from complications from COVID. And there was 2 drugs out there that I understand might possibly help, ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. The reason I got the idea to do that was because there was a doctor I tried to get him to give it to her because there was a doctor whose dad was in the hospital for like 3 weeks. She had to get a court injunction in order for them to give him ivermectin, and he got better in 3 days and was released from the hospital. I could not get this drug issued to her. And the thing that questioned me, that I had a question about, is that if a person had cancer and you found a medication that possibly might help, wouldn't you try to give that drug to that patient?
No, you would. You would, because you're a good person. You would. And the people listening would, because we're the good. But the corrupt scum who believe in eugenics, that the world has too much population, like Bill Gates, his father, and Fauci, and all the Democrats. Would they? And, here's the other thing I have to say to you. How do we? Here's what you should grasp from this. You now have a government that has proven itself ready, willing, and able to both release a bioweapon and prevent us from the medication to save us. So in essence, the American government is willing to kill Americans. There can be no other conclusion.
Right.
So what makes you think it is very possible, in other words, that they have had a cure for cancer for decades and they could treat it properly?
Right.
I've had guests on who rightfully believe it's a parasite, rightfully treat it with antiparasitics that are virtually cheap in comparison to all the other stuff. But that doesn't keep us under heel. So what this now proves is anything, and I mean this, anything that comes out of the mouth of a government official is a lie. Start from that premise, and you'll be more right than you ever are wrong. And I got to tell you, I'm sorry. I mean, sorry it's way small. But vindication is all we can hope for now. The millions and millions, millions, hundreds of millions of people are dead because of Dr. Fauci, because of the lab in Wuhan, because of the liaison, Peter Daszak, and the rest of it, who facilitated the financing of this bioweapon. Now, hopefully we can get a smart lawyer. You know, we're not all Democrats like Ben Crump, who can at least bring some sort of justification through a massive, massive suit. And I want him to go to prison, and I want him to go bankrupt. That's what I want. In the name of the people who were really affected, like you. Some of us just lost money. Money you can make. Ken showed you that in Texas. You can always make more money. But when they prevent you and they take the lives of people you love, that's an abuse we can only get vindication for in the next life. And they will get it. Believe me, I promise you this. I know I'm going to live a lot longer than Fauci. And I will take out your frustrations on his tombstone. It better have a urinal cake. All right? Thank you very much.
The only thing that I'm left with is the fact that I know that you went to a better place.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Tim. My phone broke up. Thank you very much. I appreciate the call, and really, you have our deepest condolences. Thank you very much. Give me Drew, Squirrel. Drew, how are you?
Hey, Shaun. First, I want to say you have the best production staff in radio anywhere.
That staff consists of one really beautiful, the skinniest producer in all of Chicago, and stay on her good side because she will stab you in the eye with a pen. But yes, she is fantastic. Thank you.
And Squirrel's timing, his comedic timing with music is fabulous.
He's very good. He's very good. Well, he can't sing or dance, so he better do good at this. But go ahead.
Hey, there was a standing executive order during the lockdowns that Pritzker had signed that yanked the licenses of any physician who prescribed hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin in this state.
We've had so many of them on. Now think about it, from that perspective. Here are guys that study their whole life, the good doctors, the non-Democrat doctors. They worked their whole life, and they had these slobs forever change the trajectory of their careers, financially bankrupt them, and take away what they studied. I mean, what we lived through is an act of fascism. That's why they should be called the Fourth Reich. If you are a Democrat, it's a Fourth Reich. And you will bend knee. You will come to heel. You will promote the party propaganda. It's unbelievable that this country suffered that. It's heartbreaking for the guys that studied their ass off and became doctors because they believed it. Go ahead.
Just like you, Shaun, I would make a very bad slave.
Oh, and that's who this show is for. See, Americans, that's the other thing. Americans are bad slaves in general. Thank you very much, brother. It means the world to me. I appreciate you calling. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. During cold and flu season, a nearby cough or sneeze can trigger a familiar dread, that helpless feeling of being defenseless against an invisible viral threat. But what if you could change the narrative? What if you could fortify your body's natural defenses? This is why I developed Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail designed to give your body the upper hand. Virago is more than a supplement. It's a revolutionary liquid formula packed with 23 powerful natural nutraceuticals for rapid absorption. This unique blend is scientifically crafted to help build resilience and keep you protected. Don't just hope for good health. Make it happen with Virago. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Virago. Order your bottle today online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com. Coupon code IMMUNE.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Anthony and John here from Bionic Auto Parts, proud clients of Signature Bank. We deliver high-quality, recycled and remanufactured auto parts to Chicago and Milwaukee. Our mission is simple: provide parts safely, reliably, with great customer satisfaction.
We process over 350 vehicles a month. With big banks, everything took forever. Layers of approvals and endless delays. At Signature Bank, one call got it done. Whether it's lending, deposits, or treasury management, they deliver fast. Signature Bank made us feel like family. That's a partnership we deeply appreciate.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Tens of billions of dollars in just California have been stolen in the name of the homeless. It's really that simple. See, my next guest is one of those people of good conscience who really wanted to battle homelessness. She spent 13 years as the CEO of Northern California's largest program for homeless women and children. She's a visiting fellow with the Discovery Institute's Fix Homelessness Initiative. She is the CEO and founder of Free Up Foundation and author of Answers Behind the Red Door. Michelle Stieb will join us to discuss how many other blue states stole the money and what the homelessness looks like in those ghettos after Mike Scott in the news.
Good afternoon. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, could be a thunderstorm, hot and humid with a high of 86. President Trump is holding meetings with Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky today, both in Washington, D.C. for services honoring Senator Lindsey Graham's service. Cleanup continues in the Chicago area after severe weather hit. Storms swept through yesterday, damaging homes and downing trees. ComEd says thousands are still without power. Candidates for Chicago mayor can begin circulating petitions to appear on the election ballot in February of 2027 today. And Governor Pritzker has signed a school cell phone ban into law today. The measure, approved by the state Senate, would require all districts and charter schools in the state to adopt a policy of limiting the use of wireless communication devices on school grounds during the day. Cubs and Cardinals tonight, White Sox and Yankees, and the news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Next news at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the afternoon commute. In the traffic center, here is...
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
It was a mixed finish for the major averages as robust earnings reports and tumbling oil prices lifted investors' sentiment. The tech-heavy NASDAQ ending lower for a fifth straight session as memory chip makers slammed the chip sector. Software stocks soared amid a rotation away from chips. The Magnificent Seven big-cap tech stocks were mostly higher. Shares of Apple rose 1%, hitting an all-time high ahead of its earnings release on Thursday afternoon. Apple briefly becoming the second publicly traded company in history to hit a market capitalization of $5 trillion. Oil tumbled on hopes for easing global tensions, with West Texas Intermediate crude settling over $79. The Dow up 537 points, the Nasdaq lower by 55, S&P 500 up 16. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Here it comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that, with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Inbound Edens remains heavy at 50 minutes in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose, but that is a gate related to an accident outbound at Church, which has since been cleared. 19 minutes going out. Kennedy 50 downtown to the airport. Outbound Eisenhower, hour and 5 to get to 390 from the post office in the Stevenson. 45 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Dan Ryan out 25, Titan Express 47th to Marquette. Onto Saba Lakeshore Drive, that is heavy both directions. Same for the Tri-State, Jane Addams West, stall right center lane still at 53. However, the Reagan and 355 now look pretty good, so no reason to worry. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create a hazy sky. The high will reach 83 degrees. Tomorrow night, the sky will be clear again with a low of 66. Thursday will bring partly sunny conditions with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love it. Property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Hundreds of billions and billions and billions in the name of homelessness. It's interesting, this topic of homelessness. To have the right perspective, I think you need to be reminded of something.
We are now at a place called Highland Park in Detroit, and I mean, I've never seen so many industrial buildings, schools, hospitals, just all abandoned. It really does feel like a freaking war zone here. Like, no joke. It's like the government just said, hey, you're on your own. Like, straight up, like, honestly.
Illinois has 82 what's called ghost towns, completely developed. Buildings, commercial, residential, abandoned. Water hookups, there was electricity there. It's a lot, 82. Michigan has 100. California has 370 abandoned ghost towns. How come this is never brought up with the talk of homelessness? There's no money in it, that's why. My next guest knows this all too well. She spent 13 years as the CEO of Northern California's largest program for homeless women and children. She's a visiting fellow with the Discovery Institute's Fix Homelessness Initiative. She also is the CEO and founder of Free Up Foundation and author of Answers Behind the Red Door. Michelle Steeb, how are you?
I'm doing well, Shaun. Thank you for having me back.
Well, it's a fascinating topic because, you know, it used to be that they called in the former Soviet Union or in Havana, Cuba, useful idiots that went along with the Communist Party. But what they all need is a crisis that they pretend to have an answer to, a secret answer, 5-year plan, 6-year plan, some sort of taxation on the rich. And it'll solve all the problems, yet everywhere this ideology, and Democrats specifically, are in charge, hundreds of billions of dollars is stolen in the name of the drug addicts, of the homeless, in the name of poverty, in the name of health care, in the name of reactions to crisis. So sooner or later, all the Americans have to catch up to the people who can spot the scam, don't they?
Yes, I think they are catching up. I mean, not just with their eyes, because they're all seeing the same cities we're seeing that are now like zombie lands. People are so sick, strung out, mentally ill, addicted. They're seeing the despair on these streets, the chaos of the streets, and they're also seeing the numbers finally from the federal government, right? We've been following an approach to homelessness over the last 12 years that President Obama promised would end homelessness in a decade. And we are now at the highest point ever in our nation's history, up almost 35%. And let me give you, underscore another case study. California, the state of California was the only state in the nation to actually follow the federal government in adopting this approach called Housing First. And I'll describe what it means here in a second. They adopted that statewide in 2016. Since they adopted that, homelessness has gone up almost 40% throughout the state of California. It has been a massive failure, and I'll explain to you why. Because the promise was, if we give everyone a house for life, they will become stable enough that they will choose to engage in services to help address their mental illness and help address their addiction, and to give them the skills to get jobs. They'll become so stable that they'll choose to do this. And you know what? The reality is they stay unstable in that housing. They isolate, which is a death knell for people struggling with addiction and mental illness. And they end up returning to the streets, even though they have this housing, because they miss their peeps. They miss their community that they formed on the streets or in encampments. It's been a massive failure. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to homelessness, and even if there was, giving people housing for life where they have no conditions to live there. They don't have to work ever. They don't have to be sober. They don't have to address their issues, again, often mental illness and addiction, and they can have this housing for life. And it's everyone sees it now. The numbers tell the same story. And thankfully, this administration is turning the ship in the right direction.
Well, it's the other thing, too, is it's fascinating how there really is no definition, or never has been, definition of a failed program. What's the definition of a failed program in government? Is there one? I mean, we have trillions of dollars that are missing in the name of everything from health care to homelessness to drug addiction to all the rest of it. And the reality is there's a certain lure to participate in this. They make it very easy for you to be a useless degenerate nowadays. You know, and I'm going to tell you this. I say this to you as a kid. God, I can't remember. I wish I could remember the name of it. I think it was Bound for Glory. There's a book written in the 40s about a guy who rode the trains during the Dust Bowl of the Depression. And he was kind of a smart guy. It's not to the caliber of Mice and Men with the devious nature, but it's right up there, right? And he just wants to live his life and get his next meal and see America. And I'm going to tell you, as a kid, when you read that, you're like, oh, this might not be bad. And I will never forget during the very beginning of the election cycle, right before COVID kicked in, there was a policy in California that would give you not only a smartphone at the time, because, 6 years ago, smartphones aren't what they are today. They weren't super accessible, but you got one in California. You got one, and to that smartphone, they gave you a Netflix subscription, and they gave you $700 a month in cash, and they gave you access to drugs and money. So there was a guy who had been a carpenter down in Florida who drove all the way to California. He's like, listen, I was making, $800, $900, $1,200 a month working my ass off. They give me the same amount of money, and I get everything for free. So they've lured people into the ideology of, oh, let's just ride the trains for a while. It'll be easy. And before you know it, time goes by, your life goes by, and they make it easy and accessible only if you are, in fact, hooked on drugs or you do suffer. So they lure you into the game of perpetual government servitude, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, people ask me often, why would they do this? I mean, people like Republican, Democrat, black, white, old, young, male, female, it does not matter. Gay, straight, they ask me all the time, why would they do this? It doesn't make sense to anyone. And the only answer, again, because they promised this would end homelessness, and now they're all standing behind this same failed approach. The only answer is they don't have a better answer, and they don't mind keeping people down versus uplifting them. I mean, suppressing. It's the most oppressive policy, I believe, of the 20th century to not help people regain their full human potential and regain independency.
So,
it's crazy.
Well, it is. It is. You're absolutely right. But it's also brilliant if you're diabolical. And you see the rise of what is called the Democrat Socialist Party, or Democrat Socialists of America. But, here's the other part. If you just step back for a minute and you look at what all the warnings were by all of the people who were former Soviets, former Cubans, former Chinese. If you look at what is in the book Karl Marx wrote, I don't mean Das Kapital, the Communist Manifesto, and you look at what he had to implement. You had to first implement taking away the dignity through earning and inducing feudalism. And you know what that is? That's the number 2 plank. That's the progressive tax. And if you look at it from the standpoint of somebody how I grew up, where you're not easy to find jobs. You find a job and it's not great. It might be mediocre. And that first check you get, right? And it takes, I'm going back years, takes the money out, and then you got to pay the things, and before you know it, you're broke again, right? You're working, you get your paycheck, and you're broke, and you're broke, and you're broke, and you're broke. Last week, a friend of mine who got caught up in this, and when I say a friend of mine, he was the smartest among us. And when we start out, when you're 18 and you go to work, right, you lose money, basically. You make $80, $90, $100. I'm going back to the 80s. And a relative of his was on the government dole, and he used to tell this kid, his name was Joe, what are you dumb? You're going to go to work, you're going to work 8 hours, you're going to be like these two idiots, me and my other friend. And at the end of the day, you're going to blow your money on whatever. Here, the family's got a nice little apartment building. You live in the garden apartment. You go to Social Security, you tell them you get depressed. And the next thing you know, and he did that. And he died last week, my age, in his late 50s, in a convalescent home. Never lived. Because first he had to surrender his dignity. He had to surrender. In order to be a ward of the state, in order to get any kind of government help, you must first surrender any opportunity you may have the ability to take advantage of. It is a system built on first stealing their money, second, stealing their dignity in order to be in the system. So you've built the perfect zombie to be a useful idiot of a system that politicians steal your money when you have hundreds of abandoned towns in California, 82 in Illinois, and 100 in Michigan. If you really wanted to solve the homeless problem, wouldn't you just say, go to this address, grab yourself an apartment, and get a job and bring the town back to revitalize it? Wouldn't you first do that in a country that's only 6% developed? And in all these Democrat states, you have hundreds of towns that are completely abandoned. You don't need you don't need bricklayers or plumbers or anything. Just turn the switch back on. Don't you think if you really wanted to solve it, you'd solve it?
Well, you know what? We were able to solve it, quote unquote, when Xi Jinping came to, San Francisco to visit Governor Newsom. We were able to solve it when Karen Bass brought the Olympics in, and in L.A., and we were able to solve it temporarily when Katie Wilson needed the mayor of Seattle needed to host the World Cup. It's crazy. You're exactly right. These people don't want to solve it. They're not willing to admit to their failed policies, to failure, and they're not willing to get behind this administration's reforms to this system, which are to, the president issued an executive order last year, and money is going to start flowing at the end of this year, beginning of next year, for homelessness. You need to prioritize mental health treatment, prioritize funding for drug and alcohol counseling. You need to do this in transitional housing, communal settings. You need to clear encampments that are dangerous for those living in the encampments and those living around them. If you want to continue to receive federal money, which is the largest source of homelessness funding, you must, as a community, be doing all of these things and showing the federal government that you're producing people who are on their way, if not all the way, towards self-sufficiency. And it's no longer going to be just automatic renewing of grants as it was under Obama and Biden administrations. There is going to be outcomes, accountability demanded. The money you need to show where you spent money instead of, all these audits that happen in California is a great example. $24 billion they can't account for. LA can't account for another $5 billion. I mean, it's craziness.
Michelle, it's $24,000 million. That's how much money that is. $24,000 million. I mean, the other thing, too, is there's a scandal here with him, aside from the fact the benign, thousands of millions that are stolen. There's a specific scandal. And I don't just mean the wife being a recipient of NGO money, although that's a pretty big one. The tiny home scandal is really unbelievable. What is it, 800 million? Right? 800 million for some ridiculous amount, like 1,200 tiny homes. And they gave them this money how many years ago? They don't have one? Nothing? You don't have a tiny home? I mean, these people have to go to prison if you're going to detour this. And the whole thing about Gavin Newsom and the Democrats and the problem, well, it also couldn't exist if you didn't have the cartels free to move the fentanyl and dope about the country. So Trump has kind of taken that on as well. So that has to be putting a little hitch in the giddy up. I mean, after all, they're killing a lot of these rat bastard drug dealers, aren't they? And they're making it a little bit more difficult for them. Notice how they couldn't have one without the other, right? You can't solve homelessness without solving the drugs, can you? Did I stupefy you?
No, sorry, it cut out for a second.
No problem.
No, you're exactly right. the Trump administration is coming at this from multiple angles, including closing the borders and ensuring that the people that are allowed to come here are here lawfully, but also are following our laws. That's number one. But number two, saying that the system, as it was designed by President Obama, has clearly failed. We need to head in a very different direction. And as the largest funder of homelessness, putting money into that direction, that new direction, which is all about rehabilitation and recovery. But the way the system has been for so long is that we have paid for and accepted, tolerated failure. And that's just not going to happen any longer under this administration, thankfully so.
Well, you know what else I think we always have to put in the mix? One of the main components of why you got started. I mean, after all, you got started. Homelessness among women and children. Now, I remember many years ago, the bulk reason of that is because they were often linked to scumbag, low-life men who would beat the women, right? Abuse the kids. You know what's fascinating, too? I remember back in the 70s, there were very little laws for that, right? Men could beat their wives. It was a young lawyer out of New York by the name of Jeanine Pirro, who started the first domestic laws in the country. So I can't help but love the fact that even though she doesn't look her age, but she's old. And now she's in a position that can really do something about it. And all of these women who are beat by men, who are abused by boyfriends, all of the kids who are abused, all of the laws we now have to take advantage and at least have some repercussions comes from this very, very important person named Jeanine. She gets no credit for it. She doesn't even mention it herself. Very few people are even aware of it. But there is federal prosecution for these scumbags. In fact, if there were only state prosecution for the men who beat women and abuse kids, the pedophiles out there, we could really put damage. So you're facing that in these Democrat areas as well. I mean, after all, the predators, the wife beaters, the face punchers in these Democrat areas, they're protected by government in Democrat areas. So you really aren't going to solve this problem if Democrats are in charge of prosecution in any form, if they're in charge of government in any form. You really can only solve this place where Democrats are not in charge. Kind of like opening a business, isn't it, Michelle?
Well, I'll tell you one thing to underscore what you've just shared is under current policy, again, policy that is being changed by this administration, you have to house you cannot discriminate in this housing that you provide for life. So families, and many are, in the program I ran, which was for homeless women and children, 78% of our women, close to 78%, were victims of domestic violence, and our kids. Under this current policy, again, the one the administration is changing, you cannot discriminate who goes in that housing. So they are housed in apartments that are next door to people who have actually perpetrated domestic violence on their own partners. It's crazy, crazy stuff. And that's another thing this administration is putting an end to. It's just ridiculous.
Michelle, if I ever do stage my own insurrection and take control of the government, I'm going to hire you to solve this, okay?
I'd love to join you, Shaun.
Thank you so much, Michelle Stieb. I always appreciate you making time for me. Give the website one more time where people can keep an eye on everything you do.
You bet. MichelleStieb.com. And the book is Answers Behind the Red Door, Battling the Homeless Epidemic on Amazon.
Thank you. Good luck. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Shaun. Okay, you too.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $283. There are only two good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part? My guidance costs you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Insurance came out about the roof, offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM 560 sent you.
So I knew this was going to happen, and I'm so happy that it did. And what I mean by that is I received an email from the guy who is handling Class A insurance, Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. And we've had several of the listeners that have called 708-328-5150, and they have made the switch to Class A insurance. There's a reason Class A insurance was named one of the top 25 home insurance agencies in Chicago. There are 2 generations. Tommy built it right there out of Chicago on the south side. He built an insurance company that took advantage of having access to all the companies to give each one of the customers that personal touch. So when you call 708-328-5150, TJ will probably pick up the phone. That's the son that took over Class A insurance. And he will be able to give you access and pricing from all the companies. There are some great companies. They're true. You call State Farm, they're a good company, and they're going to give you State Farm price. But when you call TJ Iaquinta at 708-328-5150, he gives you State Farm, he gives you Allstate, he gives you Nationwide, he gives you all the insurance that may be cheaper. It may be beneficial to call 708-328-5150. You will not be put into queue. What the hell is queue? Oh, a phone tree. What the hell's a phone tree? I want to talk to somebody. You're going to talk to Tommy or TJ at 708-328-5150. If you're an online guy, it's very simple. 560insurance.com to get a quote in minutes. See if your car, your boat, your motorcycle, your home, your investment property is insured at the best price, the best fit for you. That's what Tommy and TJ do at Class A Insurance. When we get back, Nick, you're going to be first. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate after Nick and Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun, in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A breezy, warm afternoon with a chance of a thunderstorm and a high near 90. 6 were wounded in a mass shooting on Chicago's west side. Shots rang out yesterday in the 900 block of North Central Park Avenue. Today, 2 remain in critical condition. 3 are dead after a shooting near Seattle's Space Needle Sunday. 4 others were hurt.
One of the victims at Harborview Medical Center did not survive their injuries. So now we have a total of 3 fatalities out of those 7 victims.
Seattle Chief Tyrone Davis says they're looking for another suspect. Police in Germany have shot dead a suspect in a deadly ramming attack on Berlin's Pride Parade. And a federal judge has ruled an Illinois law allowing some undocumented immigrants to pay in-state tuition rates to attend the state's public colleges and universities is unconstitutional. Cubs and Cardinals tonight. White Sox host the Yankees. The news a service of Fox Valley Coins. Currently buying all gold and silver bars, coins, silver dollars, rare date, proof, and mint sets. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. Next news at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And a check of the evening roads up next with Jill Urchek.
Here's another check of the roads, and beginning with the Kennedy going out from downtown to the airport, that's 50 minutes. Outbound Eden's 18 to Lake Cook Road. Right near Winnetka, there is reckless driving reported, so use extra caution. Inbound trip heavy at 45 minutes. On the Eisenhower, 1 hour and 5. Post office out to 390. Stevenson going out 50 minutes to 355. Outbound Rhine at 22. There's an accident reported southbound 57 at 183rd and an accident southbound Tri-State at Irving Park. Even though it's busy either way on that, as well as to Saba Lakeshore Drive. Northbound 355, a crash reported at Army Trail. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 63. On Wednesday, it'll be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create hazy conditions. The high will reach 83. Wednesday night will bring another clear sky with a low of 66. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular no lead in Kendall County is up to $3.99 a gallon at the Murphy USA on Route 34 in Oswego. $3.99 a gallon at the Marathon on Boulder Hill Pass in Montgomery, and $3.99 a gallon at the Quick Trip on Ridge Road in Minooka.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Whether you are old or young, no one likes to lose money. The market is at an all-time high. How much risk does your portfolio really have in it? Are you worried that you could lose your hard-earned money? Call TJ Stearns in Arlington Heights at 800-640-2256 for your free risk report. Call right now and we will include a full analysis of your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call TJ Stearns, a local and longtime sponsor on AM 560. Call 800-640-2256. Call now and tell him AM 560 sent you.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Vintage toys or model trains in the attic? Sell them for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560. The answer.
How many pharmacies do you need on this little strip of terrain in Flushing? Come on, I'll show you this. You can't even believe this is true unless you see it. There's a strip there. There are more than half a dozen pharmacies, back to back to back. And the question is, how many pharmacies do you need back to back to back to back? Now, if I was running a restaurant, I might think about it because it's, a food court. This is like a pharmacy court. So we got one here, one right there. Number two, another pharmacy. Again, the question becomes, how many do you actually need? Another pharmacy. I'm losing track, but there's more. We're at 4. Yeah, it's like a game show.
It's all a scam. I mean, it's all a fracking scam. Trillions of dollars stolen in the name of the virtuous stranger. Nick, Chicago.
Yeah, hey, Shaun. This is Nick from the Northwest Side.
How you doing, kid?
Good. How about yourself?
You listening to the news, all the shootings out there? Listen, Nick, nobody's celebrating the country. Those aren't firecrackers. You start hearing pop and you duck.
Yeah, I know. I'm on the Northwest Side here. I love your show, man. I'm a long-time listener. This is the third time I'm calling you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
What I was going to tell you, food for thought. Remember, there's no money in the cure. The money's in the treatment. Remember Dr. Jonas Salk? He worked on coming up with a vaccine for polio. Took him some years to do it. But what kind of cures you hear today? You really don't hear anything of them coming up with cures for any of these diseases, really.
No, in fact, thank God, Nick. When's the last time you heard this many people sick? Who do you know that's not sick? What kid out there does not have ADHD, some other depression problem, of which there's no test, just a diagnosis? Think about that. You ever see? Yep. We're one of 2 countries that can advertise medication. And there's trillions of dollars out there being stolen, Nick. The good news is we lived through the time when people had good intentions and the Northwest Side was good. You stay safe out there. Am I going to see you on the 28th of August?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to try.
All right, let me know. I'll pick you up on the way.
One other thing I'd like to say, that Dr. Falk, he needs to be put in jail. He needs to go to prison, man. It's ridiculous.
Tell you what, if I forget to tell you when I see you, I love your accent. I think you're the only guy that ever pronounced his name correctly. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate it. We're the ones that make the world go around. He said it right, Squirrel. There's no need to beep it. There was no swear word there. I mean, after all, he not only stole our money, he stole time. Made it so sisters and brothers couldn't hold each other's hand when they die. Sons, daughters. What a pig. What an arrogant little twit pig.
The risk is extremely low of transmitting it to anybody else. Full stop.
Vaccinated people are clearly capable of transmitting the infection.
When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people...
By the way, Squirrel, you mark my words. The future will also properly diagnose that vaccine killed more people than the pandemic that he financed and worked on. Book it. All for money.
This is a Fox News alert, and a massive bust announced this week. DOJ charging a total of 455 people, including doctors, across 45 states for their alleged role in $6.5 billion worth of fraud schemes.
6.5? That's 65. What is that? $6,500 million? That's a lot. That seems like a lot. $6,500 million. Where's the money? Where's the money?
Where is this money going? I mean, we know where some of it's going in Minnesota. It went overseas. It went to Somalia. It went to NGO fronts. We know where it's gone in some other states. California gave away billions of dollars to a pro-Hamas NGO. But $1 trillion nationally, where's this money going to?
I appreciate that question because most people don't ask that question. It goes to terrorism. It goes to child trafficking. It goes to drugs. It goes to terrorism. And then it's used to purchase luxury items, cars, purses, homes. That's all funded by people like me that pay taxes.
So you're telling me that the electrician who goes to work every day and clocks in and works his butt off and tries to earn just enough to be able to, make his rent, maybe have a kid or two, put food on the table, his tax money is being used to buy other people luxury items, cars, yachts, whatever else, and is going to...
The boat named Butt Naked, tied to Ghetto Harbor in Chirac. Another Democrat scumbag stealing money in the name of drug addiction. Which one do you think will be worse if they ever crack open the books of the mafia capital of America known as Illinois? Will it be Minnesota, Illinois, California, New York, New Jersey? Boy, those are all states you don't want to buy real estate in or invest.
So I would love more accuracy of information. As they say, they're the most transparent administration, which is the biggest lie told on American soil, I believe. It is the least transparent. It is the most corrupt.
You know what's not transparent or corrupt, Squirrel? When you give a speech and a fundraiser to Somalian pirates and welfare roaches, 8 out of 10 Somalians are on welfare. The other 2 are stealing Medicare. And here she is with her laundry on her head. See how nice she sounds when she speaks the tongue of civilized America?
It is
Does she sound nice there? Now here she is. And it reminded me of when Mutual of Omaha used to send Jim Fowler into untapped nations to talk to those head shrinkers. Here she is with the clicking and the snapping and the...
jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dowladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dowladda Mareykanka qabo. Waa kalsoonidaas inaan isku qabno annaga Soomaali haddii aan.
So Twitter translated that. The U.S. government will only do what Somalia tells the U.S. government to do. They will do what we want them to do and nothing else. They must follow our orders. She is operating in the American system from the inside. I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. Here's what it sounds like in head shrinker language.
Wadankan annaga ku nool. Wadankan wadankii aan annaga tax ka dhiibno waaye. Waa wadankii gabar idinka dhalatayne ee Congress-ka fadhiso.
A hooping and a hollering, why not? One little community of fools, scoundrels, and scallywags. Welfare roaches, 8 out of 10. The other 20% stealing billions and billions of dollars and have now levied a threat, Squirrel.
A Somali migrant state senator in Minnesota is warning the Trump administration that if it deports Somalians, other Africans will leave the country in solidarity. Republicans say this is a win-win situation for the country and welcome all the voluntary deportations they can get.
I didn't say it. Other Republicans said it. I remember when Democrats used to say it, threaten it, when they used to talk about it. Those days are long gone, Squirrel. Now it's the woe is me. How could they leave? Here's a Republican governor, which is why you don't ever vote for party. You only vote for people.
Late June, you wrote that more than 10,000 Haitians who've been living in Ohio may be subject to immediate deportation. What has happened with that community since?
Well, most of them have continued to work. I think some of them, have left. We don't really know how many, but there's certainly a lot of them there that are still working. Of course, as you know, what happens.
Somebody figure out how many dogs you got left.
When TPS actually goes into effect, which looks like it'll be tomorrow, they can't work anymore, and they won't have any way to make a living. It'll be illegal for companies to employ them. So,
as it always should have been, as Democrats ran on. Generations of Democrats ran on this. Now, here's a Republican named DeWine. And if you vote for him, I don't care what you call yourself, you're a co-conspirator in American unemployment and the massive rise of insurance rates. As these Haitians drive by sound.
It's going to be a big blow to the community.
Big blow to the community. How many Americans were killed in that little town where they all live in? Remember where the mayor rents the apartments to them? I can remember when all Americans,
not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
The whole
In
time he did
budget I
this,
will
Squirrel,
present to you-
this is 1995. Did you know the teleprompter broke and that silver-tongued devil did that from memory? There was another silver-tongued devil that told the same promises and stories of law enforcement.
One of the central components of immigration reform is enforcement, and this bill contains a number of important provisions to beef up border security. But that's not enough. Real enforcement also means drying up the pool of jobs that encourages illegal immigration, and that can only happen if employers don't hire illegal workers. Unfortunately, our current employer enforcement system does little to nothing to deter illegal immigrants from finding work.
One was our first rapist president. The next was our first gay president. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The TV tide is turning, and millions of Americans are tuning to Salem News Channel. For breaking news, common sense analysis, and the conservative voices leading the conversation, SNC delivers the stories that matter most. Watch Scott Jennings, Larry Elder, Mike Gallagher, and many others tackling the issues facing our nation. Stream free on Pluto TV, Samsung TV, the Roku channel, and more. Salem News Channel. The news you want, the perspective you trust.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-founders of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Here are what some Virago users have to say.
I started using Virago a little more than a year ago. I have 3 school-age kids, and they are constantly bringing home whatever bug is going around school, whether it's a cold, a sore throat, whatever it is. Everyone in the house was getting sick. I started taking Virago to help boost my immune system, and it worked. I haven't been sick since starting Virago. I use just a half a dose daily unless I feel like I'm getting something. Then I'll take a full dose for a day or two, and I'm fine. I also feel great and more on top of my game, like my memory is sharper. I'm not forgetting things. I absolutely recommend Virago.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle today. Visit myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com.
And use promo code IMMUNE to get 30% off.
That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
AM 560. The Answer.
Stop trying to cheer me up, Squirrel.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on Fox 9 and Fox Local. I'm Randy Meyer.
And I'm Kelsey Carlson. Our top story tonight, a community meeting to address concerns about Somali youth gangs.
Maury Glover was there and joins us live with details. Maury, a lot of eyeballs on this one tonight in the community.
Well, our cameras were not allowed in the meeting because some parents didn't want their kids to know they're here. Still, the sheriff had a lot to say about what he calls a growing problem.
There's never a good time to have a hard conversation. That's the problem. But the longer we go not having this conversation, the more people are going to die.
How did you know they were Somalians? How did you exactly know? I mean, was it because they all look like Ileana Omar and her brother? Well, they were married, and 80% of the marriages in Somalia are between cousins. Or were they speaking the language of love of Africa, known as Somalian?
intii aniga aan Congress joogo wadanka Soomaaliya biyaheeda dad kaleeta iyo badeeda dad kale ma qaadanayaan.
Watch your head. Mark in Oak Lawn.
John, thanks for taking my call. Boy, I tell you, you educate us. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You didn't. When's the last time you heard Somalian over the airwaves of America? Go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
Language of love.
I know that the little guy's going to be going in front of Congress, Fauci, and he's such a squirrel. He really knows how to cover up everything, and he's you know who gave him the Congressional Medal of Freedom honor back years ago?
Who would be that stupid to do it? The only president that was never permitted to say Nigeria.
Did you know who it was, Shaun?
George Bush. George
Bush, yeah. And it goes back to his father and the CIA, and you look at Tulsi Gabbard, how she was trying to find these gain of function labs on the Ukraine border.
32. She found them.
Yeah, but it took her like 2 or 3 years. They're such secret squirrels. It's unbelievable how they can just fool the
Stop
American public.
Stop attacking one of my favorite cartoons and my producer. This will be called in the future. This will be called the Fauci scheme. He will be synonymous with the Ponzi scheme. This will go down as the greatest act of manipulation, fraud, bioweapon, the cure, and profiteering from shutting down the American principles that the world has ever seen, that America has ever seen. It will go down as the rise of the Fourth Reich. Fauci, Biden, and all the unindicted co-conspirators called Democrats will be accurately described in the future. They will give classes on how stupid the American Democrats were during the Fauci years. 50 years of stupid. That's Fauci's real legacy. Thank you, Mark, for the call. Lee Hammond.
Hey, Shaun, in regard to this Fauci flu and this wonder shot, I've got 2 different forms of cancer. I've been going to a major hospital around here for 6 years for chemo on and off. And I tell you what, in 6 years, I was just up there recently. I've never seen it so crowded up there. It's standing room only. And as far as this mRNA technology wonder shot of Fauci's, I wouldn't take one of these things for $1 million.
Thank God you didn't take
exploded.
it.
You can't even find a place to sit there anymore. It's just unbelievable.
I watch a guy.
It's going up 3-4 fold since I started going there for chemo.
I've been watching a doctor out of the UK. His name is Kramer, John Kramer. And he's been tracking the uptick in illnesses, all kinds of illnesses, from blood pressure to blood clots to heart. He's done so much of what we've had doctors here do. I can't remember the doctor's name, Honey Bunny, that we had on and testified before the Senate. 74% of autopsies are showing these clots from the vaccine. The future will diagnose this properly. And I am so glad, Lee, you didn't get it, because you might have one of my favorite voices ever, not just because it reminds me of Dragnet. So you stay healthy, my friend. I really appreciate it. And this is an undeniable event we lived through. And really, we have a couple of senators, but nobody aside from Ron Johnson, more important to release this. It is all one senator that released the 1,100 pages of this arrogant, ignorant thief and fraud. Pickle-face Fauci. And the Fauci scheme, as he brags in his diary about how popular he was. Never been right in his life. I wouldn't take a dog to get examined by this quack. But then again, I knew the government was always full of idiots like Fauci.
Another question for you. The NIH continues to refuse to voluntarily divulge the names of scientists who receive royalties and from which companies. Over the period of time from 2010 to 2016, 27,000 royalty payments were paid to 1,800 NIH employees. We know that not because you told us, but because we forced you to tell us through the Freedom of Information Act. Over $193 million was given to these 1,800 employees. Can you tell me that you have not received a royalty from any entity that you ever oversaw the distribution of money in research grants?
Well, first of all, let's talk about royalties.
That's the question. No, that's the question. Have you ever overseen, have you ever received a royalty payment?
How do you think the future will judge that? He's a traitor for money and for power. We'll be back.
Scott Tucker believes retirement planning isn't about predicting when the market bubble will burst. It's about being prepared if it does. Every market bubble flashes warning signs. Today, it's artificial intelligence and a handful of giant technology companies driving much of the market. Will this bubble pop tomorrow? No one knows. If you're approaching or already in retirement, you may not have the time to recover from a major market crash. That's why Scott Tucker Solutions helps you reduce unnecessary risk, reduce or eliminate future federal income taxes, and build a retirement income plan designed to help you weather what the future may hold. Book your complimentary 15-minute phone consultation today at 560retirement.com or call 847 560-474-3888. That's 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions are not affiliated companies. Firm does not offer tax advice.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I believe American time of the most functioning illiterate citizens is right now. But my next guest is the one with all the brains. Third-generation printer, author of But by the Chance of War. Also, Shadows of the Acropolis will be joined by Richard Lyons after Foxweiser News.
An American original. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's how President Trump remembered South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham during the memorial service this afternoon at Washington's National Cathedral.
Lindsey rose from a small town in rural South Carolina, a place he loved so much, to become a constant fixture of American politics at the highest level and a force to be reckoned with all over the world.
The president told the story of how he publicized Senator Graham's phone number when the two had a falling out when they were both running for president in 2016, and how the senator had the last laugh by calling him at all hours for the next 10 years. The service followed a memorial at the Capitol where Graham served for more than 30 years. Ukraine's President Zelensky was at the funeral for Senator Graham, who was a staunch supporter of Ukraine. Tonight, the Senate is expected to hold a test vote on a measure to further sanction Russia and Iran.
President Zelensky will reportedly be in the Capitol when that happens. Bipartisan senators announced a deal on this bill empowering President Trump to impose up to 100% tariffs on the top 5 largest buyers of Russian oil and natural gas. Also, the top 5 countries helping Russia evade energy sanctions. The bill will also extend the Iran Sanctions Act of 1996 through 2031.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. U.S. Central Command says Islamic Revolutionary Guard forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles, it says, were successfully intercepted. Florida has become the first state in nearly a decade to carry out 2 executions in one day, putting an 80-year-old to death. He was the second oldest inmate known to have a lethal injection. Hours earlier, the state executed a former police officer convicted of killing a young girl. America is listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the outbound Edens, you're good to go. Busy back in, though. A 50-minute trip. Kennedy, 40 minutes out to O'Hare. And the express lanes are tight. Ohio to Keeler. Outbound Eisenhower, an hour. Post office to 390. 55 northbound. Watch out for an accident. Inbound at Joliet. Stevenson out. 45 out to 355 with an accident reported at Route 83. 20 minutes outbound Ryan. Stop and go on the express. Garfield to Marquette. Southbound 57, a crash reported at 183rd. Outbound 57 at 159th, an accident on the exit ramp. DeSable Lakeshore Drive still heavy either way. Scattered delays on the Tri-State and 355. This report is a service of Fox Valley Coins. This is a great time to bring in your scrap gold jewelry and sterling flatware. Cash or check offered on the spot. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expected clear sky with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create a hazy sky. The high will reach 83 degrees. Tomorrow night, the sky will be clear again with a low of 66. Thursday will bring partly sunny conditions with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Here it comes. Surprise! There's an avocado shortage! Now half your food truck menu is costing more than it's making you! Also, you're out of napkins!
Those aren't cheap! Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise, saving 10% or more on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, an ice cream truck stole your parking spot! Looks like you're in a turf war!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
You know what, my opinion, Squirrel, why Ben Franklin is on the $100 bill. Now, most Chicagoans think Ben Franklin was president. Wasn't. He was an inventor, it's true, but more importantly, he was a printer. You could argue that Ben Franklin was the most important founding father. After all, he's the one who printed all of the leaflets, in some cases imitating writers, because he didn't have any. So he wrote in it. Many different genres. It's a fascinating reality. And then you realize Ben Franklin left school at 10. Ben Crump, he graduated law school.
It goes the gunshot wound of the head. A, the injury proliferation of the left internal I'm looking at this word because I know.
There are 28% of Americans that are functionally illiterate. Not all of them have law degrees. My next guest thinks this is the big bulk of our problem. He would, though. Third-generation printer, author of some fantastic books. But by the chance of war, The DNA of a Democracy, Volume 1, and The Shadows of the Acropolis, Volume 2, just to name a couple. Wicked smart, born right there in Shirakistan, formerly Chicago. Went to Loyola, and that Ben Crump clip gave him a migraine. Richard C. Lyons, how are you?
Great to be with you, Shaun.
Yes.
You're cracking me up.
Well, the functioning illiterate are clearly all Democrats, but, it's a fascinating time. You and I have had the pleasure of talking several times, and I so love them because it really accentuates what is America. America is a philosophy. It's an ideology. It's the Enlightenment. You really cannot grasp it if you can't read, if you can't understand, if you have no philosophy. And when you think back to what our country is, I mean, Ben Franklin is truly amazing. Most people have no fracking idea how he is the intellectual, in my opinion, forefather that started the whole thing. And you look at the people of all ages that understood and articulated and wrote beautifully about the principle of the Enlightenment. And you look at how they were tracking literacy. In fact, in 1770, literacy was high in America. It was 20%. The highest it was ever recorded was 1870. It was 22%. We're trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt on education, and now it's 28%. So this is the dumbest time in the country. Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say, and it's utterly remarkable, Shaun, that we spend in America double the amount per pupil that the next nearest developed country does, and we're performing like this. In the 1800s, well, let me go back to Benjamin Franklin for a minute. He was self-taught. He raised himself up by his own bootstraps. And at the time of the Constitutional Convention, he was 80 years old, which at that time was really old. George Washington went to his home personally in Philadelphia and said, hey, I need you to be with me at the Constitutional Convention because you are the only person in this country that is revered as much as being my equal. And and Benjamin Franklin went there on his cane because he was so ill and stood there through the convention as a favor to the country.
Well, what's fascinating, right, is he's the youngest of his kid of his father, and his father dies, right? Doesn't the father die when he's a kid?
Yes, as a lot of parents did at that time,
The amount of single-parent founding fathers, it's really amazing how many of them didn't have a father. But what also is, that's why the excuse today of he has no father. Shut the frack up. They can't read. Here, and then he leaves school at 10. And his brother is 9 years older than him and a drunk and a scallywag, but smart. And he has the print shop, and he knows that his younger brother's smart. So he makes him sign an indentured servant agreement for 11 years. Ben Franklin was an indentured servant from the time he's 10 till his rat-drunk brother loses the print shop to his partner, and the partner says, hey, how about we make you the partner? I mean, it's an amazing story of survival. And all these idiots today, he's a single parent. When Ben Franklin was 10, you frickin' morons. I can't stand these idiots. I don't know how you live among them. I really don't, Richard. But, when you look at the Chicago public school teachers, and they come out
utterly awful.
The pictures of greed, right? All the fat broads and the guys in their red T-shirt, XXL all stretched out. And you hear them talk. I don't think they can read. The real problem is we have teachers, doctors, and lawyers that may, in fact, be functioning illiterates, don't we?
Well, we do because the system is run by a teachers union. You can't fire a teacher in the Chicago public school system. And they keep just passing students along and passing them along. And I think the real statistics, Shaun, are actually a lot worse than what you have. I think there is more illiteracy than is shown in the statistics because these teachers want to pass students on because they're paid by numbers of pupils passed.
Well, the bastardization of words could not happen in a society that understood the true definition of it.
Yeah,
it really
correct.
could. We could never. I in my opinion, my simpleton, and believe me, I'm no man of letters, but I did pay attention a little bit, and I idolize people who are not men of letters, like Ben Franklin. Not a man of letters. Most people think he was. He wasn't. He never went back to school from 10. Never went back to school. But when you think about how far down the prairie path we are of socialism, I truly believe that I don't think there is a major policy that is legitimate and constitutional in the definition of liberty and freedom. I don't think there is one. Whether you talk about Social Security, which is completely unconstitutional, you're extorting every working man, every employer, every company.
Yes.
Unemployment, all of this, and now we have this new rise of the American communists calling themselves socialists. You're not a fracking socialist, and I want to play something for you that I believe is a true act of insurrection and treason. And I believe what is happening in this country is that the American Democrats have issued a declaration of war in the strongest sense of the principle of Americanism. Hold on one second. I believe this broad's name is Romer. And the other thing too, it's hard, Richard, for me because I'm visual and I'm distracted by these women with heads like stop signs. And when they start talking and that bottom chin starts flipping, it makes me hungry. But nonetheless, I believe this pizza-faced dimwit is truly declaring war on America.
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate. True. Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them. Yep. Abolish ICE. Absolutely. Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally. As a long-term plan, yep. Defund the Pentagon. Absolutely. Abolish prisons, at least in large part. Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah. Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations. Yeah, absolutely.
That's not a policy. That's not a platform. That is a declaration of war, and that is the rise of an insurrection. Why are so few people willing to declare this what it is? Not just treason, but a declaration of war.
Well, I agree with you, Shaun, but I would add that, the Obama Democrats, that's where the Obama party has been since Obama. And they're not even the Clinton Democrats. They're not the FDR Democrats. They're the Obama Democrats. And the Obama Democrats are like, yeah, I'll have my whiskey with water. They, too, want the Senate to be fixed by bringing in D.C. and Puerto Rico into the vote. They, too, want to abolish prisons. They, too, want to defund the military. They want to do all these things, but they don't say it directly to the camera. What the DSA is the Democrat Party straight up, without watering down. But the whole Democratic Party is headed down this road. That's what half the Democratic Party has to realize when they go to vote and they're going to push D just because they've done it their whole life. This is not the same Democrat Party.
Well, and here's the other diabolical reality of who Barack Obama was, the enigma that he was.
Yeah.
If you remember, I know you do, he ran as a conservative. He ran as a fiscal conservative. He ran as enforcing the border. He ran with the silver-tongued platitudes of utopia, however, always anchored in financial responsibility. So he ran as a Chicago Democrat swindler, which is how they always ran. But the reality of what he was surrounded with, this is the part where the tip-off was there for everyone to see. Every campaign headquarters I saw with my own eyes in River Forest, Illinois, had the Che Guevara picture up. He ran with the innuendo and the hint and the wink and the nod to the existing underbelly of traitors in our country, the now calling themselves Democrat Socialists. This was really the thread that was the foundation and the blanket of his support. So he ran as a con man, but he ran knowing he would release the hounds in what we're now facing. So my position is, if we're going to push back against this, we really have to attack not just the $9 trillion he added in debt, but the policy of backdoor nationalizing our health care through the obvious unconstitutionality of it. Don't you think?
Yes. Whenever you are funding Democrat programs, they're not Democrat programs, they're socialist. It began with OBJ and the massive redistribution of wealth. And whenever you're allowing it, whether it's health care, housing, education, first of all, the price of everything doubles. And your taxes go through the roof, and what you get are half the services. But what it does is fund their constituencies, like the NGOs, like the what are they? The Somalis in Minnesota, like Stacey Abrams in Alabama, who walked away from the EPA with $2 billion without being able to even write up a budget. You want to talk about uneducated? This woman couldn't write up a budget for a popsicle stand, and she gets $2 billion.
Well, did the Trump administration repeal that and get it back?
I have heard they've been trying to claw it back. I know they froze it. I hope they've got it back in the Treasury.
You know, when you think about this, you and I and the people who work their ass off and understand how to read, it's a staggering amount of money.
Unbelievable.
And that's why it all traces back to Obama. Since he was president, $30 trillion. There's only $39 trillion in debt. $30 trillion, all through the veneer of legitimate policies, which were never really legitimate. And I think at this point that the Trump administration, what they're doing, what they're trying to do, and I see the arrests. Listen, I'm one of the few guys that'll tell you, they've arrested thousands, if not tens of thousands of individual foot soldiers who helped perpetrate these policy crimes of piracy, right? So they are arresting, but they arrest...
That's great news.
They arrest the bottom rung, right? It's like the cops when they first had the war on drugs. You're arresting the scumbag on the corner. You're not getting the distributor. The distributor is the Congress. The Congress that was in on this, the Democrat saboteurs, the people who facilitate these bills intended to be stolen. But I think these neighborhoods are getting more and more aware of it. I was back in my old neighborhood, and I drove past the hospital in Melrose Park, where if you're from Melrose Park, everybody knows Westlake Hospital. It was not great, but a lot better than the other choice where, you know, you walked in and they zipped you up in a bag and carried your ass out if you went to the one on the other side of town. But the one where the decent area was called Westlake Hospital. Yeah. And it has been abandoned for, I mean, it's got to be now 8 years, 7 years. And here it is, big mammoth. And you look and it's just all the rooms and all the facilities, the electricity's still on. And you realize Barack Obama shut down 50% of American hospitals are just like Westlake. 50%. Yeah. I had a woman on before you, my first guest. We were talking about homelessness. Illinois has 82 towns that are completely developed, were functioning and abandoned. Michigan, 100. California, 350-something towns abandoned. So all of the reality of what happens when you allow the Democrat, and these are exclusively Democrat areas. When you allow the Democrats to run, I mean, the real pitch has to be, we're going to prosecute all of the scum that stole the money, absolutely foremost. And we're going to trace it back to the original intention. But number two, we're going to deny all funding to all Democrat areas, which had the pot splashed under Obama and under Biden Part 2. So this has to come to a reality where the money stops. Because if you don't, we keep pretending there's elections. And we know, and we've talked about it, you and I, they clearly stole 2020. We're from Chicago that celebrated stealing the presidential election since 1960. So let's not pretend you have elections anymore. So we have to really come down and crack, because that's what America is. It's the rule of law. And without it, you don't have America, do you?
No, you don't. And you're exactly right, Shaun. What has to happen is that the blue states and cities that throw money around like it's worth nothing have to pay for their own policies and their failures. We have to stop the redistribution system in Washington, D.C., and make Illinois and Chicago pay for all the awful policy that they produce in that state.
Now, the problem is, right, they got you working, right? You and I are lucky enough to know how to read. And also cursed with the ability to read, because there are a tremendous amount of people that, you know, they raise their families and they take for granted. It's America. It's great. It'll be fine. But in the meantime, all the costs go up. the quality of your life goes down. The taxes go up. The property taxes go up. And before you know it, you're hamstrung where you can't leave. You can't take advantage. Now, should you listen or whatever? Yes, but you're looking in the rearview mirror. Race cars don't have them. You got to figure out how to solve the problem now. And I think the only answer I can come to is to take advantage of what the country really is. Written by law, anticipating by the founding fathers that it would become this corrupt, that it would become this bastardized. They gave us the out, and the out is secession. It's the only conclusion I can come to. And secession doesn't have to be states. It can be counties. Now, in Illinois, 33 already voted. 7 more are voting this November for secession. Ultimately, shouldn't the Trump administration answer the cries of the people who are trapped and cannot afford to leave by allowing county secession? If you look at a map of a presidential election, only 10% of the counties are corrupted with the cancer of Democrat mafia policies. You could really change the map.
I can guess where, Shaun.
Oh, yeah. It's all the areas where their money's stolen, whether it's California, New York, New Jersey. Yeah.
But you're speaking to a greater truth, and that is that when you allow redistribution from Washington, D.C., it actually pays Democrats to fail. It pays for failed policies. The more Democrat policies fail, the more Democrats say, we need more power, we need more money, we need to control more of the country, more of the economy. Then it will work. That's a bunch of BS. But every time one of their policies fail, they do more of it.
Well, and the other thing, too, is corruption isn't just, here's $5, vote for me. Corruption comes in many forms, not just welfare. Corruption comes in the other thing that we started the conversation with, corruption in the education system. Because now you have forever cast an entire section, generations of your society, into willful or involuntary slavery because they're too stupid to see what's going on. Just a fact. Just it is. It is what it is.
And they're locked-in constituents. Their ignorance is Democrat Party power base.
I mean, really, I've been saying since I got the show, it's either the party. If you're a Democrat, you're either a pirate of policy and you're in on the scam, or you're too stupid to see it. And I think the people who run are afraid to say that because, you can't say that. When the reality is, if you want to live in the lowest areas of America, you're a Democrat. Why don't they just say that as a non-Democrat? And the other part of corruption is, I don't know if you're watching the politics of Illinois. You don't watch it, do you anymore? Or do you?
Well, I did find out that Brendan Johnson, to have his beard and coif done, spends $38,000 a year.
Yeah, that
tells you everything about him.
Yeah, how about the wife that doesn't work for the city, got $80,000 for an office? Yeah, that's great.
There you go.
If you see the resistance, this is the other side of the coin. The sidecar to the corruption are the ones who are sometimes in on it, and they're allowed to operate. Their family businesses in on it. They're called Illinois Republicans. And when you look at this cast of buffoons, except for a few, there are a few that are frustrated and they just run and they run under the right intentions. But the party in general, up until, I guess they have a change and the guy's not so bad. But if you look at this buffoon running as the answer to J.B. Pritzker, if there's nobody except a young lady who has no support whatsoever running as a non-Democrat for the mayor of Chicago. I mean, ultimately, the federal government has to sequester the financing of these fiefdoms because that's what they've devolved into, Richard. They're fiefdoms.
That's what I endorse, is stop the funding. Make Illinois pay for being Illinois.
And the reality is, if you know enough and you look hard enough and you understand what the principles are, we're not supposed to have to go to war to cut out these cancer fiefdoms. We're supposed to be able to secede from them. I mean, in a civilized society, all I have to say is we get enough people in our little county. I don't want to be a part of this scumbag anymore. You've already stole us. You've affected our land values. You now have all of Illinois paying Chicago public school. Get the hell out of here. Now, can you write something that sounds better than get the hell out of here, which I think they're going to put on my tombstone?
Well, you're part of a massive wagon train that started leaving Illinois years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But now, you're taxed as you leave. There's a special tax if you sell your house in Illinois. You have to pay a bonus just to leave.
Hey,
it's really criminal.
My last town where it's like the rumor is, we're not that stupid, and they're like the last non-Democrat controlled municipality town, little tiny town. It is the most expensive transfer stamps, as they call it, but it's a tax to sell your house. So now you sell it. You get whacked another $5,000, $10,000. Who knows what the hell it is? They figure it out any way they want to. I was actually discussing this with a relative of mine. I said, I'm not gonna sell it. I'll tear that son of a pig down. I'll donate the land to a methadone clinic. Let them put up a tent and a couple of drug addicts. My offer to you is this: nothing. And really, that's the other side. Richard, you're seeing Atlas shrug, aren't you? People are just saying, how about this? I abandon it. The amount of commercial real estate, they're selling buildings in the Loop at 84%. Atlas is shrugging, is it not?
No, and that's exactly right. In downtown Chicago, some of the most expensive real estate years ago, remember under Richie Daley, the city was safer anyway.
Which one?
Now going
the father or the son?
No,
by the way,
the son.
If he passed the bar exam, I could jam a basketball. There's no way that dummy. The M in Richard M. Daley is moron. Another lawyer can't read. But go ahead.
But back then, at least, the buildings had some value. Now, if you go down there and go to work downtown, you don't know if you're getting home alive.
Oh, Richard,
you just don't.
Before I let you go on CWB Chicago, please go on CWB Chicago. There's a moron Chicago public school honor roll student punches a guy coming out of the Blues Club in Chicago. The guy, suburb, dad, job, kills him. Okay, so he goes to trial, and they said, you know what? We're not going to prosecute. You're not going to spend more time because the trial was like 2 years. We're going to let you out in 8 months. Chicago has a one-punch rule. When did they enact that? In the 80s? Because I would have taken, we got a one-punch. Now, if you hit the sucker one time and they die, we'll let you go with time served. You might have to have an ankle bracelet. It's worse to have a speeding ticket in Florida than kill somebody coming out of a blues club in Chicago. Make that the title of your next book. Richard C. Lyons. You can find him at richardclyons.com, correct?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much for always making time for me, my friend. I love it.
Thank you, Shaun. I appreciate it.
We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE, 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Fight or flight? In Illinois, you've got both options. You can stay and fight, engage in local races, work to change things. Or you can vote with your feet. At leavingil.com, we help you build a smart exit plan so you know where to go, when to go, and how to do it right. Take our quick exit readiness assessment. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Abolish the Electoral College. Replace the President and Supreme Court with an executive and judiciary chosen by and subordinate to Congress. Eliminate the Senate. Seize ownership of essential industries. These are not just hysterical claims about the Democratic Socialists of America. This is the platform the DSA adopted and published. DSA co-chair Megan Romer confirmed on Fox News Sunday that the DSA and its candidates will pursue those goals and by any means necessary. These DSA activists and candidates do not want to just win elections. They want a toehold for a revolution. It is not a game to them, nor a pose, and the events of the last century make very clear what the outcomes of such a revolution will be. Even winning an attempted revolution against the constitutional order would devastate the country, and the DSA does not plan on losing it. When communists tell you who they are, believe them.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation celebration of America's 250th. This November, be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
You're probably listening to this in your car, so let me ask you. Would you drive without insurance? Of course not. So why is your retirement portfolio unprotected? Gold is portfolio insurance. It helps de-risk your savings when markets get unpredictable. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands of Americans do exactly that with no high-pressure sales and thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making any investment decisions.
So Arlington Heights Pipe and Tobacco will be the tobaccoist that will be at Shaun Fest. We now know we have Jukebox Hero as the main band. We have somebody else singing the national anthem. We're going to do the interviews live. The whole show will be there live. Squirrel Hands will be there live. Honey Bunny will be there live. And you should be there. Now, the reason we keep asking you to register at 560 theanswer.com/ShaunFest, Shaun is spelled S-H-A-U-N, is because we just had to tell them again. First of all, we got people coming from 7 different states. They've already rented rooms at the West Inn in Itasca. The event is happening at the Lakeside Pavilion behind, but we have to tell the food vendors how much food to have. We just hit another mile mark, and they have to have more food ready, more drink ready. Food will be available. Drinks will be available. You'll be there, and it's hours and hours of morons, scumbag-free environment of not just us doing the show. Afterwards, I'm going to stay till we meet each and every one of you, and all you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. You don't have to pay anything. Nothing. We also want to have seats that, we have ready for you to take advantage of at the event. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and none of it could happen without you or our sponsors. Sponsors that make this possible: Virago, Leaving I-L.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto, Unique Wooden Flags, Class A Insurance, owned by Thomas and TJ Iaquenta, Donley Auctions, Alpha Wealth Group, so many others. So I hope I see you there, happening on August 28th, Lakeside Pavilion, right behind the West Inn in Itasca. It's a free event. It's a Friday. Be there or be square. If you're in Illinois, you're in Crook County, be among our own little family. That's what Shaun Fest really is, a family picnic to end summer. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, a humid overnight, a chance of a strong thunderstorm, and a low near 69. Authorities in Seattle are searching for a second suspect after a shooting near the Space Needle left 3 dead last night, 4 others injured. President Trump touted his administration's economic policies at a GM facility in Milford, Michigan today, but he's also focusing on the upcoming primary races in that state. Fox's Mike Tobin.
There's a hotly contested race for the GOP nomination for the gubernatorial candidate. The president has given his endorsement already to
Check of the road, southbound Route 53. There's an accident at Algonquin, and that is blocking the right shoulder. On the outbound Edens, you are okay. The Kennedy out to O'Hare from the Janeburn interchange, 40 minutes. And the outbound Eisenhower, 1 hour. Post office to 390. 55 north, right near Joliet Road. Accident crews are on the scene for that. And the Stevenson, 40 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355 with an accident reported at 83. Outbound Dan Ryan, 20 minutes, stop and go on the Express 63rd to Marquette. Delays remain along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State either way, but the other tollways are in better shape, so they're pretty good. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect a clear sky with a low of 63. On Wednesday, it'll be pleasant with abundant sunshine, although wildfire smoke may create hazy conditions. The high will reach 83. Wednesday night will bring another clear sky with a low of 66. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high of 88. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now it's time for the Cat's Corner.
Americans' debt problem? We are always talking about that. Well, who pays the bill? I go back to the time when the debt was $5.5 trillion. And Newt Gingrich was the speaker. And what did they do? They worked together as Americans, sat down with common sense decisions, and brought down the deficit from $5.5 trillion down to $5 trillion. Well, that is the last time the American people said $5 trillion. Since then, it has grown to $39 trillion. It has gotten out of whack. It has gotten out of control. And what is President Trump trying to do? He is trying, as a businessman, to bring it under control. He is trying to bring business back to America. He says he has commitments for $19 trillion in new manufacturing. Let's be proud and say, made in the USA. Bring jobs back to America. And that's what President Trump is doing. This is John Katsimatidis, and this is the Cat's Corner.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
During the War for Independence, General George Washington, the man we refer to today as the father of our country, led American troops through military defeat after defeat. And in the bitter winter of 1777, he wrote this somber note to a friend in Philadelphia. Quote, "You might have tracked our army from White Marsh to Valley Forge by the blood on their feet," end of quote. Many soldiers continued to march through the deep snows of Pennsylvania without shoes. Others suffered from disease, hunger, and freezing conditions. Nearly 2,000 of Washington's men died. Yet George Washington did not lose faith. Amid the hardship, loss, and uncertainty of Valley Forge, he turned to God in prayer. At a time when our nation once again faces division and uncertainty, may we follow Washington's example, kneeling humbly, praying faithfully, and asking God to guide the future of America.
Hey y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family.
Echo.
I love a podcast.
Plus Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo. Hey Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, now, Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
That's where I want to be.
That's
EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old porcelain signs, gas and oil collectibles, collectors are waiting. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Do you agree that there was a push to downplay the lab leak theory?
Not on my part.
Really?
Really?
Wow. I think most of the country.
Are you listening to this little punk? This useless punk who could have never been in practice in the private sector. There is but one entity that this failure and fraud could possibly exist in, and that's government. Not only exist, but thrive. He would have been laughed out of every neighborhood. Pickle-faced quack.
Senator Paul, can you give us an overview of what happened at the hearing today?
What's your top line?
The top line is that there was a scientific consensus at the CIA that the virus came out of the lab, that there was a lab leak. Anthony Fauci intervened in 2021, and at his behest, it seems like the CIA changed their conclusion. Internally, their scientists were concluding that it came from the lab. After Anthony Fauci came in, he influenced their higher-ups to overturn the idea that it came from the lab.
How? How did that pickle-faced little scumbag influence the big bad CIA?
Do you agree that there was a push to downplay the lab leak theory?
Not on my part.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
I think most of the country would find that.
I would slap the taste out of your face. You know, that's the other thing. Only in government do you not get your ass kicked on a regular basis. There's not a tavern in any neighborhood that this fraud could have told another man what he said from Washington, D.C. He got his ass kicked. Steve, Grays Lake.
Hey, Shaun. I got a quick comment and then a quick question. You know who that scumbag rat, Dr. Fauci? You know who he looks like?
Boy, this is an interesting guy because he's deceiving for how old his wretched, useless ass is. Who does he?
Well,
look
you know,
like?
remember the Mad Magazine, Alfred E. Newman.
He had red hair. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, the Faucis come from a long line of disgusting people who look like they have a pickle on their face. But go ahead.
Well, I was just curious, and I apologize if you already answered this question, but how did his diary get out in the first place? What is he, writing a book or something?
Ron Paul, through what the government exposed through the depositions he was forced to go to, and the documents he was able to ascertain and grab, he released 1,100 pages of this self-enriching, self-aggrandizing fraud failure quack of his own diary.
Yeah, and when I was reading that, I thought, my God, that dirty, rotten scumbag.
Yeah, it's 1,100 pages. I can't get through them. I keep chewing them. I keep biting the fracking pages, this rat bastard. That's the beauty of the way we grow up. Say this to a man to his face, you'll get your ass kicked. All these pansy. Did you see J.B. Pritzker in a T-shirt? Did you ever look at a man in a fracking T-shirt look so feeble and weak as that butter-handed pansy? Trust fund little biatch. Boy, they make me angry. Fracking scumbag.
I think that's a pretty serious, breach of protocol, and shows that there was a conflict of interest from early on.
Chairman, there's only one world, too, where this Rahm Emanuel, this nine-finger Yakuza, you're supposed to be a tough guy. Where? Not in my neighborhood. I don't know a woman that can't kick your useless nine-fingered ass.
I believe in growth.
Do you?
I think there are 5 pillars to it.
Shut your ass up. What a scum. They're all just such scum. And the more that they're in business, the more you're out of business. That's what it really looks like.
Effect. The National News Desk, Angela Brown, joins us right now with more on that. And it's really the law of economics in this situation. You're going to go where it costs less to live for most people. So New York is the latest city seeing the consequence of this. But there's cities all over the country that are dealing with this right now.
You're 100% right, Jan. And millions, billions of dollars in some cases just going out the door. New York City Mayor Mondani, is doubling down, proposing a new tax on luxury second homes. And also,
how is it different from anything happening in Chicago or New Jersey, New York or California? It's all the same. You know what else I love, Squirrel? When the other moron Democrats run against the very policies implemented by Democrats.
Why have so many businesses left Chicago when we are and have been rated the greatest city in America? In the last decade, hundreds of...
By who? Hey, dimwit, I know you're talking real fast there like you're in some bowling league on the South Side. Who rates it? Scumbags paid by the Democrats? See, that's how it works. Like the rating agency that rated all the banks that the gangsters own. From Silky G to Penny Pritzker. They rated all the loans they were giving as grade A. Who owned them? Other Democrats. Democrats can't watch Democrats any more than drug dealers can be prison guards. This is what it leads to. More scumbags. You know what else? Well, we were talking about functioning illiterate. Did you ever listen to these Chicago reporters when they're not reading a teleprompter? This is an actual reporter in Chicago, a moron, talking to J.B. Butterhands Pritzker, who has given contracts to companies his family and his trusts are invested in. Gee, what does that remind you of, Ro Khanna?
So I think that pretty much everybody knows that you're a billionaire, right? I think that's safe to say. But I was surveying with some of my girlfriends, and I'm like, do y'all know how he makes his money? And they're like, no, he's just a billionaire, you know? So
you hang around with a gaggle of morons. Morons! Hanging with morons, all voting for scumbag Democrats.
How did you become a billionaire? How did your family accumulate their wealth? What is the family business?
Well, right now as governor, of course, I'm not involved in business at all, and all that's in a blind trust form. So, I don't engage in it.
The family business is smart women giving lap dances to cross-eyed scumbags. That's the Pritzkers! I said, look at me when I talk to you. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
It happens quietly. No warning label, no recall notice, no breaking news alert. Dog food recalls happen more than you think. Salmonella, aflatoxins, vitamin D levels toxic enough to cause kidney failure, and most owners never find out until it's too late. Right now, today, you could be feeding your dog something already flagged, and you'd have no idea. You can't control what's already in the bag, but you can control what you add to it. That's where America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens, comes in. Rough Greens is packed with live probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, and over 20 vitamins and minerals. All natural, made in the USA. You just sprinkle it on top of whatever you're already feeding them. Thousands of dogs are feeling younger, more energetic, and healthier than they have in years. Your dog could be one of them. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag today. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use the discount code MikeG. Rough is RUFF. Roughgreens.com. Discount code MikeG. Rough Greens makes any dog food better.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
AM 560. The Answer.
So we've got friends now listening all around the country, all around the world. And somebody on Asshat on his Facebook said, mention Shapiro. You're right, but you have to understand why I specifically talk about the greatest example of mafia disguised as politics in Chicago. See, Shapiro's just a cheap imitation of Rahm Emanuel. He has 10 fingers and a cheap imitation. This is how you swindle through the veneer of arrogance and corruption.
Look, nothing happening in winning a primary, taking a blue district to cobalt blue, flips a red to blue. Shapiro wishes. Now, granted, he talks like he's hanging off of a ledge and his brother
Ari's going to take his fingers off, which he must have done as a kid to give him that forever scared voice. However, this is the guy, the mind behind the scum, one of the thinkers in the mafia, calling itself the Chicago Democrats, the Obama Democrats. Shapiro wishes he was in that club.
We had Nancy Pelosi become Speaker in 2006, passed the minimum wage. There's a direct line from electoral victory to policy changes.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about you stealing elections, like in Pennsylvania. That's where Shapiro was excellent. Stole that election. Fascinating, though. And we had that dimwit reporter talk about Pritzker's billions. If Pritzker's mammy didn't give that cross-eyed dummy a lap dance, Pritzker isn't smart enough. Not smart enough to ask you if you want insurance on your rent-a-car at O'Hare.
I mean, I have thought a lot about that since you and I talked. And I have to say, I think it makes political sense for both of us.
Oh no! Look, I think this would be great.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no problem with that.
The pitch, the pitch for you, I think, is, you're picking,
banking and financial experience and know-how and all of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know about banking, right? Cause
but financial know-how.
Throw my sister in Superior Bank in.
And they laugh. Well, did Superior Bank get the same bank, Silky G, same deal? They get the bailout money and then disappear? What happened? That's his business. His business is political corruption. And all he has to do is give a little taste to a couple of well-known scumbags. Madigan, Burke, Blago, Chipmunk Face, scum.
What happened to her bank? She get a collapse or something?
Yeah, she was chairman of a bank, and it had
There's the
subprime
family
loans.
business.
I mean, all the bad stuff.
Superior Bank.
And when you get caught as a billionaire scheming and frauding the people of Chicago, Cook County, and Illinois by saying your wife, who's the only one in that family with any upper body strength to rip a toilet out, took the toilets out of the mansion you bought next door because you didn't want to take a chance some low-life scumbag Democrat would move there. That I agree with you there, fat boy. By the way, Squirrel, in that T-shirt, is that an Audi or a belly button ring? Does a billionaire have one of those ghetto Audi belly buttons? Ralph, DuPage County.
Yes, sir, Shaun. I just asked the young lady. I moved to DuPage County in '63 when it was Republican, and I'm a Republican. Yeah. And I'm over 80. So is my wife, who's in a nursing home. What kind of suggestion you got for me when the South counties all succeed from
Ralph,
Illinois?
I only wish, and I mean this, I only wish I would have been able to have contact with you in 2005. I would have told you then, get the hell out of there, brother. The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. But you could trace this back, Ralph, to who's the first Republican to stab every good Republican in the back in Illinois? Ogilvy. That's the one who signed the toll booth or the toll road, right? It was only going to be 5 years, Ralph. You remember that?
Didn't he sign the temporary tax, too?
Sure. And, Ralph, look at the billions. Look at the billions they're stealing from all these people, all these kids. And right now, another 45 cents. Ralph, you're never too old or too young to make the right decision. You get that beautiful wife of yours and you come down here by me. You're going to be old. Why wouldn't you be old down here? The people are better, the government is better, and your dollar goes further. And the good news is, Ralph, we have the least amount of registered Democrats of any county. That's how you decide where to buy real estate, Ralph. You take care of yourself. If you need a ride to Shaun Fest, you let me know. I'll come and get you myself. Thank you. Fastest show on radio. Squirrel, I got at least 2 more segments. There's nothing we could do. Who do we talk to? Son of a gun. We'll be back in 21.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my tax.